In this video, we're going to be using Shannon Soap's Lavender Lemongrass and the Gold Dollar 1996 with a brand new edge. Stay tuned. Hey there folks, and welcome back for another video. I'm your host CDB. Thanks so much for joining me today for another video. I really appreciate you. And today we're going to be using Lavender Lemongrass by Shannon's. I'm having Shannon's, I'll show you the slide right there, on the Real Talk show tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern on Instagram Live, and that gave me a great excuse to use the Shannon's Lavender Lemongrass, which is a beautiful soap and a beautiful scent. Scent strength on this, right at medium, dead at medium, beautiful lemon, grass, and lavender. It is a fantastic scent. It might be my favorite Shannon soap scents along with Barbershop. I really love those two. This one is truly excellent. It comes to you for an incredible price. $11.95 for 4 ounces. That is on a cost chart there. $2.98 an ounce, which is an exceptional cost. We'll show you the ingredients right here. This is their base formula, and let me tell you, it is good. I consistently get great lathers with Shannon's base formula all the time. They also have a goat's milk formula, which I call the Chupacabra formula, which is very good, and the Rust Belt Reserve, which is their premium line. All their soaps, even the basic formula, which I hope they will always keep because I get such a fantastic lather from it, and the price is right. Absolutely love this stuff. The razor for today, Gold Dollar 1996 that I re-honed. I had honed this one before, and I took it all the way back down to bevel set because I realized it wasn't setting exactly flat on the stone. Early on, I ignored some of that stuff. Now I'm not. So I took it down to the Chaucer 1K, Shapton Glass 4K, Shapton Glass 8K, Nanimoy 12K, and the Suhiro 20K. So we'll see if we did a good job on the edge today. So let's get into it. I'm going to start by misting with a little, this is just plain water. Nothing special, just plain water. We have our standard 24 hours of growth. The brush for today is the APShaveco Handcrafted Series brush. And as you can see in there, beautiful lather. And by the way, if you haven't seen my lather tutorial using Shannon's, I'll pop it up in one of the corners here. I consistently get phenomenal lather from Shannon's all the time, which is why I've been talking about it so much over the years. And up until recently, it was mostly ignored in terms of my pleas for people to try the Shannon's, try the Shannon's. Now they're finally catching on. I know Nate and Mel have used them recently, and that really helped get them some additional attention. And slowly but surely, people are finding out that Shannon's is one of the top soaps on the market with very good prices. For me, I've always said this soap runs with all the soaps in quality. Look at that lather. I don't know what it is about Shannon's, but it's so easy for me to make a phenomenal lather with each and every single time. It takes really good hydration. That's another quality of this soap. It just takes water beautifully and allows you to make that super creamy. You can see the sheen on that, or at least I hope you can. Do you always need that? No, but it sure is pleasurable to do it. All right, that is plenty good enough. I'm telling you what, the Shannon's is just phenomenal stuff. I've talked about it for years. It is good that you all are finally catching on. I wish you had listened to me sooner, but glad to have you here all the same, trying the Shannon's and enjoying it. All right, so let's get going. The weather has been absolutely beautiful. I've been able to get outside and piddle around in the yard and just enjoy it. It's been right around, 80 degrees in some of the afternoons, which is 26.6 Celsius. I looked that up. All right. Dry our hands here and get going and see what kind of edge we put on this razor. And really, I'm not sure because this one I realized wasn't setting nearly as flat on the stones as I had hoped. And I tell you what, if that's any indication right there, I'm in for a nice shave today because that feels very nice and smooth. No roughness in that. And again, that's what I've been really shooting for in my edges, is to get that smoothness in that edge to where it's cutting, but almost you don't feel it cutting, kind of like what I think a shavette feels like when you have a good sharp shavette blade. To me, sharp is smooth, but if it has roughness to it, That is not pleasurable. Now, some people call that toothy, and I was talking to Mike Schultz the other day, and he said sometimes the razors have a foil edge, which is more or less a burr. And that will not feel great, and it will give you the impression that it's toothy, and you don't want that. And this is a beautiful edge, so I tell you what, I have to say, the synthetic stones have really been working well for me. And I'm gaining the consistency, and I've said this every time. And I've had a shavette here that I've been planning to use that I haven't used yet. This is the IBC, and I've had this on standby for probably a good 3 weeks, but my edges keep coming out the way I want them. So at some point, if I have a bad edge, I'm gonna bring in the IBC. But so far, fortunately, have not needed it. And so that's a good thing. It's a very good thing. So once again, we've done a pretty good job on the stones, and it's very, very exciting. And boy, this lavender lemongrass, I'm telling you, if those two notes sound great to you, just get it. The price is right, $11.95. If you like lavender and lemongrass, which I do, it is a no-brainer. Just get it. The quality is there if you lather the soap properly. It just works really well for me. It is my favorite soap to lather. Out of all the soaps that I use, the best of the best, or the heralded, formulas. Out of all the soaps that I use, this is my favorite one to lather because to me, the ease of lathering is there. And if you want to see how I do it, again, check out my lather tutorial below. It's not really difficult. It's just a matter of working the lather and incorporating hydration. And it works the same way every single time. It's very consistent. It's not a finicky soap, and more as time goes on, and having tried, I always guess somewhere in the neighborhood of maybe something close to 1,000 soaps over the years. More and more, I have less tolerance for finicky soap. I just don't need it. There's no point in it. There's no, if you have to bring lab equipment into the restroom to make a lather, and soaps are so finicky that they can only tolerate a certain amount of water, or they get, washed out and non-recoverable, or they produce no volume. I just don't want to fool with it. It's a waste of my time because I have many, many soaps like this one, which, can you see the sheen on that? Come along so easy. And you can just come in here, make the lather, smell this wonderful lavender lemongrass scent, and know that you are supporting good people. Now, that said, if you have any questions for Brian and Shannon of Shannon's Soaps, please comment below. Do it before 7 p.m. Eastern today, because that will be the cutoff for questions. But I'm going to tell you right now, if you haven't tried this, now's the time. It's catching on. And they're beginning to sell briskly in places. Wow, look at that. I'm telling you what, it is beautiful. Beautiful lather. And it works this way every single time for me. And that's what I really like about it. You see how there's great hydration in there. And I could do this all day long because it's fun, but I'm going to stop because I don't need to. But let's just cut that back a little bit. Man, I am really happy once again to know that other people are catching on. They're actually taking a flyer and going, hey, let me try that Shannon's. And, I don't make a penny saying this. I just strongly believe it's one of the best soaps on the market. It compares favorably. Even their base formula, for me, compares favorably to everything out there. And in terms of ease of use, the type of lather you can generate from it, just, again, try my method and see if it works for you. Now, again, your conditions may be different from mine. Your water could be different brush, But for me, it's always been fun. You hear that feedback? Every now and then I get taken by the feedback of these hollow razors, hollow ground razors. I really appreciate that feedback. I love that. It's the one thing that every now and then gets me to shut my mouth because I'm like, it's kind of ASMR-like. If you're familiar with ASMR, it's really, really nice. Hear it? Just doing its work. The edge. The Shannon's provides that slickness that is paramount for this style of shaving. Slickness. Now me, there are people who believe in cushion, like having that barrier between the blade and your face. For me, I don't really, I don't want to say I don't believe in it, but that's not important to me. I want the edge to be as close to my face as possible while gliding on that slickness. I don't want a barrier in between or something holding it off my face. That's just me. You may differ. It's okay if we disagree, as long as we do it in a disagreeable fashion. But I don't want what they call cushion. I'm not looking for that. It's not important to me whatsoever. I just want it to provide the slickness that I'm looking for. And if it does that, I'm happy with it. Remember, when you are shaving, try to keep that angle shallow with a straight razor. Usually, the general rule of thumb is about 1 spine width off your face. There might be times where that has to change because of where you are on your face. And the spine is this part of the razor right here. There's some places, like when I'm doing across the grain close to the ear, you've got to sort of scoop, and so it's not possible to keep that angle or to maintain that angle. So keep that in mind. There are places where it's not possible to maintain exactly that width away from your face of the razor, but try to keep it that way. And I always say, I notice on camera that the spine, when I'm shaving, looks further away from my face than it really is. And I think some of it has to do with the fact that I'm sort of offset. The camera is a little bit. Really, really nice lather. Slick. Good stuff. And sometimes when I'm shaving, just thoughts pop into my head. Like just now I was taken by how slick that lather is. And sometimes the feedback will get me. It's like, squirrel. I'm off to something else. I apologize. But I can tell you, this is good stuff. And boy, it's worked for me for a long time. And it really is a pleasure. I didn't stretch very well right there. It really is a pleasure to see other people discovering this soap. And so if you're new to Shannon's, or if you have tried Shannon's recently, let me know below if it was your first time and whether or not you liked it. For me, again, I put it up there with, there's no soap that I wouldn't put Shannon's up against in terms of what it delivers in the shave for me. Now, keep this in mind. I don't consider post-shave because I use post-shave products. And I think that if you use post-shave products, especially me, because I'm using alum, I'm using Thayer's Witch Hazel, which is an astringent, and typically an alcohol aftershave as well. Those are 3 products with astringent type properties to them. So they're going to strip a lot of anything that the soap will probably be providing. This is just my opinion. In the post-shave, it's going to strip a lot of that off your face when you're using those astringents, which is why I don't evaluate the post-shave of soaps, because I believe my post-shave products are either providing or taking away from the soap, just depending on what I'm using. But most of the time I'm using witch hazel, which has astringent properties, alum, which has astringent properties, and an aftershave with oftentimes alcohol, which also has astringent properties. So I don't feel, in my opinion, it's fair if you're using a lot of post-shave products to evaluate the post-shave qualities of a soap, because it's interfering one way or the other, adding to, taking away from. And so I don't get into that. But in terms of providing, I think I had a little chunk of soap there, providing what is necessary for the shave, this stuff right here, you can see how creamy that is. Oh man, I'll get carried away and I'll be lathering all day long. But let's just smooth it out a little bit. That's all really I need. As long as you get that slickness, for me, that is key. Okay, that's plenty good. Great stuff. And I really enjoy this APShaveco handcrafted brush too. It has a cashmere knot, and they're very reasonably priced. They're usually around $50 to your house in the US. Coming from Canada, maybe 55. I can't remember exactly, but for a handcrafted brush, that's a very good price, and it's handsome too. And I tend to like brushes with longer handles because I get a lot of hydration in my lather, and it tends to run down the handle a little bit, and I don't like getting it all over my hands, particularly when wielding a straight eraser. Again, very happy with the edge today. It's consistent. I'm getting consistency, which I really like. Is it perfection? Is it as good as Mike Schultz? Nope. Is it good enough to make me very happy and enjoy a shave with it? And to the point where I'm very happy with the result? Yes. And so I'm very happy with it. And while I do have a lot of stones to choose from, I found that just sticking to the basics and using these synthetics has worked very well for me. Now here you're going to see, I got to sort of get in there and scoop around a little bit, because that razor's not going to lay flat in that position, because there's not enough room in between the ear, you know, for it to lay completely flat. But very nice. Oh yeah, that feels great. Tell you what, that soap just really hits the spot. Let's try to get this little part right here. There we go. Very nice. Wow, what an enjoyable shave today. Tell you what, every single day I'm waiting to get in here. I have my stuff set up, and you can see how hydrated that lather is when I hit that spot right there, and it's kind of falling off. Shannon's allows me to get hydration into the lather very easily. I think that's one of the reasons I like using it so much. So this morning I said, you know what? I'm having Shannon's on the show. Let's use Shannon's. It gives me an excuse to use it. If I were to choose a base that is consistent and works well for me every single time, this would be one that I would choose. If somebody just said to me, what's a base that works great for you, and you achieve the same result every single time with ease, Shannon's would be there. Now there'd be some other brands there too, but Shannon's would be among the top of that list, because it just, for me, it's perfect. Very, very nice. And I'm going long because I'm flapping my gums too much. So we're going to have to do a short post today. Otherwise, the video will be too long. So let's finish this up strong. And just call it a magnificent shave, because it has been. All right. Let me rinse, then we'll come back, get into the post. Stay tuned. All right, and we are back, and off cam we did our warm water rinse, followed it with the alum, which I dropped and broke, followed that with a cool water rinse. We used our Lancaster towels. We hit it with the Thayer's Magic, because it's made by witches. Lavender Lemongrass, superb. Shannon's, one of my favorite brands of all time. This formula, even the base, is killer. Absolutely loved it. Gold dollar, 1996. I really loved the edge, another consistent edge. I'm happy about that. APShaveco handcrafted series brush, loved it. Of course, we used the Captain's Choice bowl, and we'll finish it off today with RazoRock Emperor, which doesn't smell anything like the Shannon's Lavender Lemongrass, but I'm just trying to get rid of it. So we'll throw this on and wish you all great shaves today. Thanks so much for joining me. Until next time, I've been your host, CDB, reminding you, it's your shave, do it your way, and as always, God bless.